The death of Vhagar. The end of a dragon queen. House of the Dragon explained. She was the last living relic of Balerion's generation, the largest, oldest, and most feared dragon in all of Westeros. Vhagar, the queen of the skies, a living embodiment of fire and blood. But even dragons are not immortal. This is the story of how Vhagar, the mightiest dragon of House Targaryen, met her tragic and violent end. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe if you love House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, and deep dives into Westerosi lore. Let's begin. How Vhagar dies in House of the Dragon. Who was Vhagar? Before we dive into her death, we need to understand who Vhagar really was. Vhagar was one of the 3 original dragons that conquered Westeros alongside Aegon the Conqueror. While Aegon rode the mighty Balerion the Black Dread, his sister Visenya rode Vhagar. Together, they burned and bent the 7 kingdoms into submission. Vhagar was a bronze-colored beast, massive and ancient. She fought in the field of fire. She roasted enemies in the First Dornish War. She was battle-tested, ferocious, and experienced, arguably the most seasoned dragon to ever soar the skies over Westeros. By the time of House of the Dragon, Vhagar was over 170 years old. She had outlived Balerion, outlived Visenya, outlived multiple wars and countless riders. But her final rider would also seal her fate, Prince Aemond Targaryen. Vhagar and Aemond Targaryen. Aemond claimed Vhagar at a young age, and from that day, she was his instrument of vengeance. After the death of Lena Balerion, who had been Vhagar's rider, the massive dragon rested on Driftmark. That's when Aemond, the second son of Alicent Hightower, dared to mount her. The boy was bold, but it worked. Vhagar accepted him. And with that, Aemond rose from being mocked as Aemond the Eyeless to becoming one of the most feared dragon riders in Westeros. Their bond was strong but also volatile. Aemond had a deep hunger for power. Vhagar was a seasoned war machine. When the Dance of the Dragons, the Targaryen Civil War, began, Vhagar became the Black's worst nightmare. She burned Harrenhal. She killed Prince Lucerys Velaryon and his dragon Eryx above Storm's End in a chilling scene that shocked the realm. Aemond may not have intended that death, but Vhagar did not hesitate. In that stormy sky, Vhagar acted on instinct, rage, dominance. She tore Eryx apart. She consumed Lucerys. And with that, the war became total. The Dance of the Dragons escalates. As the war between Rhaenyra's Blacks and Aegon II screens intensified, Vhagar served as the Green's deadliest weapon. Wherever she flew, fire followed. But dragons were not invincible. Rhaenyra's forces had dragons of their own. Syrax, Caraxes, Malays, and soon, Rhaenyra's son Prince Daemon, the Rogue Prince, would come to believe that the only way to win the war was to take Vhagar out of the skies. Daemon knew the truth. As long as Vhagar lived, the Greens had air superiority, and that meant death for everyone who opposed them. Which brings us to the final flight of Vhagar, and the battle that would end her legendary life. The setup for Vhagar's death. As the Blacks closed in on King's Landing, Aemond and Vhagar had gone rogue, hunting across the riverlands. Aegon II was injured, the Greens were fractured, and Prince Daemon saw his chance. He issued a challenge, a dragon duel, one-on-one, in the skies above Harrenhal. Daemon, riding the lean, red dragon Caraxes, lured Aemond into a trap. He knew the boy wouldn't refuse a chance to finish what they started. Harrenhal, once the greatest castle in the realm, was the site of the coming doom. Its blackened, broken towers would once again witness fire raining from the skies. The battle above God's Eye, the duel that would bring about the end of 2 dragons, and the beginning of legend, was about to begin. Aemond arrived at Harrenhal on Vhagar, answering Daemon's challenge. As expected, Daemon and Caraxes were waiting. The dragons clashed in the sky above the God's Eye Lake in a fight so violent it would later be remembered in song, scroll, and nightmare. Vhagar was massive, at least 5 times the size of Caraxes. Her wings blocked out the sun. Her jaws could crush a castle tower. But Caraxes was fast, vicious, and cunning. They fought in the clouds. Fire met fire. Roars shook the earth. Claws slashed. Wings tore. Teeth sank into scale. Daemon, known for his ruthlessness, did something no rider had done before. As Caraxes latched onto Vhagar's neck, Daemon leapt from his saddle and plunged Dark Sister, his Valyrian steel blade, directly into Aemon's blind eye. The sword pierced Aemon's skull. Both riders died instantly, but the dragons? They fell. They tumbled from the sky, still locked together, crashing into the deep waters of the God's Eye below. Vhagar's death confirmed. For years, many questioned if Vhagar had survived. She hadn't. Divers later recovered parts of the broken saddle, the skeletal remains of Caraxes, and eventually they confirmed the truth: Vhagar was dead. Her body was found years later, at the bottom of the God's Eye Lake, resting like a drowned mountain. She had drowned, her wings shattered, her body mangled in the fall. Even for a dragon as mighty as Vhagar, the combination of battle wounds, Daemon's trap, and the sheer impact of the fall had been fatal. The legacy of Vhagar. With Vhagar's death, the Greens lost their greatest advantage, and the dance of the dragons entered its bloodiest phase. The skies of Westeros would never be the same again. No dragon of her size or experience would rise again. Vhagar's death symbolized the beginning of the end for the dragons. Over the next few years, the dragons would begin dying out, either in battle or through mysterious circumstances. The Age of Dragons would fade into history, but Vhagar's death wasn't just about war. It was also symbolic. She had been born in Valyria, had conquered Westeros, had carried 3 different Targaryen riders. She had seen more of the world than almost any living creature. Her death marked the death of an era, the final breath of old Valyria's fire, fading beneath the waters of a Westerosi lake. Dragons can die, but legends live forever. In the world of House of the Dragon, dragons are not just beasts, they are characters. Symbols of power, pride, rage, and legacy. Vhagar wasn't just a dragon. She was the past. She was Aegon's conquest. She was Visenya's wrath. She was the last link to a bygone age. Her death proved that not even the mightiest can escape the consequences of war. In the end, it wasn't just Caraxes or Daemon that killed Vhagar. It was the Targaryen civil war itself. A war of kinslaying, ambition, and fire turned inward. Her bones now rest at the bottom of the God's Eye, lost beneath the lake's still surface. Her story preserved only in the pages of history and the whispers of maesters. The death of Vhagar was one of the most heartbreaking and epic moments in Targaryen history. It's a reminder that no matter how powerful you are, no matter how mighty your wings or fiery your breath, all things must die. But Vhagar? She died as she lived, fighting, burning, defiant, and unforgettable. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the death of Vhagar, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another breakdown of House of the Dragon lore and battles. Drop a comment. Who's your favorite dragon in the Dance of the Dragons? And remember, when you play the Game of Thrones, even dragons can fall. Thanks for watching.